everybody, and welcome to Queensland. So my name is Naomi, and over the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to be talking to you about all things relating to the Sunshine State. There'll be time for a Q&A at the end, so if you do have any questions, feel free to ask them then. And there's also a poll taking place throughout this presentation, so make sure you check the poll tab for a chance to be to win some very special prizes. So before we begin, I'm just going to give you a brief overview of what Queensland is about and where it's located. So Queensland is the second largest state in Australia. So it's located in the northeastern corner of the country. And the UK actually fits 7 times into the state of Queensland, just to give you an idea of its scale. So we do recommend 2 weeks for any client itinerary. It does take 24 hours to travel from Brisbane right up to Cairns. So 2 weeks is ample time to get a feel for what the state has to offer and explore and experience everything that's packed within it. So whilst we have been waiting to welcome guests back to Queensland, the Sunshine State has really been flourishing, and we're now more ready than ever to welcome UK travellers. And when we heard about Tourism Australia's Don't Go Small, Go Australia campaign, we thought, perfect, this is an amazing opportunity to share some of our iconic big experiences and some of the ways that Queensland stands out from the crowds. So let's start with some big numbers. So Queensland is home to 1,400 miles of the magnificent Great Barrier Reef, and it also boasts 2 million hectares of rainforest. So incredibly diverse landscapes that allow for hundreds of thousands of opportunities to see wildlife in their natural habitat. Add to the mix 300 days of sunshine and you've got yourself a pretty perfect destination. And for clients looking to stay a little bit longer, there are hundreds of beautiful hotels, both along the coast and inland, new and existing, if they want to stay a little bit longer. And Queensland is also home to 2 Indigenous cultures. So it's the only place in Australia where 2 Indigenous cultures meet. So lots of incredible experiences across the state. And I'm just going to play a video now to give you a little bit of a feel of what Queensland has to offer.
Welcome to Queensland, where nature is at its most abundant. A place of ancient wisdom, inspiration and connection. The Great Barrier Reef, Gondwana Rainforest, the world's most ancient culture. Life began here and it thrives on, teeming with activity and brilliant colour. Come and discover the epic wonders, the friendly faces, extraordinary wildlife, and incredible new adventures that will change you and the way you see the world. You'll find experiences to inspire a new appreciation of life and our planet, right here in Queensland.
Amazing. So hopefully that gives you a bit of a flavour of what the state has to offer. So we'll kick off our journey in the tropical north of Queensland. So the tropical north region is one of the biggest regions within Queensland, and here it's where you find the Daintree Rainforest meets the Great Barrier Reef. So you also have the outback here as well. So 3 incredibly diverse landscapes that are home to unique wildlife and experiences found nowhere else in the world. And across Queensland, you'll find a number of big rainforests. So one of the most iconic being the Daintree Rainforest, and there are lots of amazing ways to explore it. So for clients looking to immerse themselves in this verdant paradise, we recommend they catch the Kuranda Scenic Railway, which cuts up through the Daintree Rainforest. They can spend some time soaking in the views of the roaring Barron Falls, and then take the Sky Rail back down for some epic views. If clients are looking to pause pause for a little longer and overnight in the rainforest, we do recommend Silky Lodge. It's one of the luxury lodges of Australia, and it recently underwent a 15 million Aussie dollar refurb. It was bought out by Bailey's Lodges, so as you'd expect from Bailey's Lodges, there's an incredible guest experience, plush interiors, amazing food using locally sourced ingredients. So this is just a perfect place if you want to pause for a little bit longer and listen to the bird song of the rainforest and switch off in nature. Queensland is also home to really big culture. So as I said, it's where two of Australia's Indigenous cultures meet. So you've got the Torres Strait Islanders and Aboriginal Australian meeting in Queensland. So in Queensland, we've been championing Indigenous tours for a number of years now, and there are now a staggering 22 tours which stem all the way from the Gold Coast right up to Cape York at the tip of Queensland. So whether you're dipping below the waves with Dreamtime Dive and Snorkel and listening to the Dreamtime stories of Indigenous sea rangers, or exploring 20,000-year-old rock art with Jarramali Rock Art Tours, soaking in the hot springs of Tallaroo Hot Springs, or heading out on a guided walk through the Daintree Rainforest and watching your surrounds transform from a rainforest to a supermarket or a medicine cabinet with an Indigenous guide. An itinerary will be taken to the next level by the addition of an Indigenous tour. And onto the Great Barrier Reef. So Queensland is home to one of the biggest reefs, obviously, the Great Barrier Reef, and a reef experience here is a must as part of any itinerary. So you can head out with Sail Away and sail across the azure blue waters of the Great Barrier Reef. You can take a scenic helicopter flight over the reef with Nautilus Aviation, or you can become a reef conservationist for a day. So if you're a certified diver, you can head out with a marine biologist as part of Passions of Paradise New Citizen Science Tour. Whatever clients do, we do recommend that they get out and see the Great Barrier Reef and either take up a snorkel or dive to experience the underwater majesty of this natural environment. Heading further down south towards the Whitsundays, there are a number of big new ways to see the Great Barrier Reef. So first up is Journey to the Heart, which launched at the tail end of 2019. So this is exclusive to guests of Hamilton Island. So it's a really beautiful, luxurious experience. Only 6 guests at a time take a scenic heli flight over the surrounding region before landing in a very James Bond-esque style on this pontoon in the middle of the Great Barrier Reef. You have a chance to enjoy a long lunch here. You can snorkel the surrounding waters. You can take a glass bottom boat tour around Heart Reef as well. So a beautiful experience that is at that sort of top higher end luxury and well worth including in any itinerary. There's also Reef Suites and Reef Sleep for those looking to stay a little longer on the Great Barrier Reef. So Reef Sleep existed, it's existed for a number of years now as part of Reef World Pontoon, but Reef Suites is a new product which launched at the tail end of 2019, and it offers 2 rooms, so overnight accommodation on the Great Barrier Reef. So you can fall asleep and wake up to the Great Barrier Reef. I don't know how anybody gets a wink of sleep here because I'd be too busy gazing at the marine life overnight, but a great way to, and a unique way to see the Great Barrier Reef. And booking in advance is recommended. As I mentioned, there's only 2 rooms, so availability can be a bit of an issue, but it's good to be on the front foot with that one. Staying in the same region, there's a new Indigenous tour in the Whitsundays, Garrow Sea Trail. It's actually the only Indigenous experience in the Whitsundays. A great way to gain a deeper understanding and see the region through an ancient Indigenous lens. So you can head out spearfishing, you visit rock art paintings in nearby caves, and you also visit 2 islands. You can take incredible day trips out on the Great Barrier Reef with Sea Link or Red Cat Adventures, and you can also overnight in new accommodation with the Sebel in the Whitsundays. And further south in the Southern Great Barrier Reef region, There's also another new pontoon here, which is Lady Musgrave HQ. So this launched only recently in the last few months, and it offers beautiful queen size glamping beds on the top deck, so you can stay overnight on the reef. There's an underwater observation deck, and you can also snorkel the surrounding waters. They're very big on reef conservation, and they're 100% solar and wind powered, so great eco-sustainability credentials as well. And Queensland is also home to epic road trips. So this picture, the main picture that you'll see here, is of Australia's Nature Coast Drive. So this is a 12-day journey that travels from Brisbane right through the Sunshine Coast, up to the Fraser Coast before finishing at Lady Elliot Island. A must-do for anybody who's looking for a bumper-packed adventure full of nature experiences. There's so much nature included in this drive, from spotting whales along the coast to exploring Gary, the world's largest sand island. The Matilda Way is another great drive that cuts through the outback. There's the Great Barrier Reef Drive, which is a beautiful scenic drive that stems from Cairns right up to Port Douglas. And then there's the Pacific Coast Way. So for any clients who are looking for an incredible road trip right up the coast of Queensland from Brisbane through to Cairns, the Pacific Coast Way is a perfect way to take in all of the attributes that Queensland has to offer. And Queensland is also home to the biggest sand island in the world. So this is known as Gary, which you might be familiar with its former name, which is Fraser Island. It was renamed late last year and in a monumental move, which we're very proud of. And it also coincided with the timing when the Daintree Rainforest was also handed back to Indigenous owners. So two very big monumental moves and something that Queensland is incredibly proud of. So Gary is big. It's 2.5 times the size of Singapore, and it's a natural paradise with so much to see and do. So while you're here, you can go whale watching, you can spot dingoes on the beach, you can take a road trip down 75 Mile Beach, do some four-wheel driving, explore shipwrecks, take a scenic flight over it, or hike through it. There are so many ways to see this island, and you can take a dip in the beautiful blue waters of Lake Mackenzie. I've never seen bluer waters in my life, and the sand is so bright that you do need to wear sunglasses, but it's a gorgeous corner of the world. And Queensland is also really big on luxury. So barefoot luxury is something that Queensland does really well. In fact, 5 of Tourism Australia's luxury lodges can be found in Queensland. And this is just a snippet of a few of them. So there's Qualia on Hamilton Island, which is just the epitome of luxury in the Whitsundays. There's Lizard Island Resort, which is great for any clients who are looking to experience the Great Barrier Reef. It's only a 2-hour flight from Cairns. There's also Mount Mulligan Lodge in the outback. So again, 2 hours just west of Cairns, but a beautiful lodge to switch off at the footsteps of Mount Mulligan. And then there's also Spicer's Peak Lodge, which is located in the Sunshine Coast hinterland. So great, beautiful accommodation with amazing foodie experiences as part of that too. And finally, on to a city with a big and exciting future. So Brisbane is obviously Queensland's sunny capital, and it has been going from strength to strength. It is now blossoming with a burgeoning collection of galleries, eateries, and incredible hotels. And this is just a snapshot of some of the hotels that are on offer within Brisbane. Over the last few years, we've seen the city explode with new hotels. So there is really something for every taste. We had the W, which launched back in 2018. There's the Carlisle, which came shortly afterwards, so very much for the design inclined. There's the Emporium in South Bank. I've been lucky enough to take a dip in this pool, and it looks out over the Brisbane skyline. Absolutely stunning hotel. And then there's also the iconic Vincent by Crystalbrook collection, which sits underneath the Story Bridge. Crystalbrook collection are really big on sustainability. Again, great for any clients who are looking for something with some eco-sustainability credentials. But it's going to be a really exciting few years for Brisbane. There's so much happening, and we can't wait to welcome guests back again. And one big development that we're really excited about is Queen's Wharf. So back in 2018, 18, we had the launch of Howard Smith Wharves, which was a new precinct just under Story Bridge. And now we also have Queen's Wharf coming to Brisbane as well. So this is a huge lifestyle and entertainment precinct. It spans 26 hectares across land and water, just to give you an idea of its scale. It's bringing 5 new hotels to this area. There's also a casino, there'll be galleries, eateries. So it's going to be huge in size and scale, and it's set to change the face of the city, and we're really excited about that one. So that's one to watch. And you may have heard that Brisbane's also set to be host of the 2032 Olympics, which we're really excited about. And again, we'll continue to see the infrastructure and city changing and evolving to accommodate that growth. So that's everything on Queensland. We can't wait to welcome guests back, as I said. And if you do have any questions, feel free to shoot them in the chat.